Oh, isn't it gorgeous? Just look at it. Brand new today. The way the circle is just, you know, well, round, and the points, they meet the edges perfectly there. It's even got a little stick here. It kind of wobbles on its little stick. It's just beautiful. Oh, and you get one of these as well. Car. It is in fact the new Mercedes C-Class, and whereas its bigger brother, the S-Class, which this does look suspiciously like, is more likely to find itself living in a place with a drive, well, rather like this one, the C-Class is one strictly for suburbia. Traditionally, Mercedes have not been aimed at the likes of me. I get bored of anything within 6 months, cars 3 months. Mercedes are traditionally aimed at people who keep them for millennia. In fact, Mercedes are delighted to say that they've got about 3,000 orders already taken for this car before it goes on sale and before the people who are buying it have even seen it. That's because they've always bought Mercedes and they always will buy Mercedes, whatever they're like. You could put Mercedes on your old Coke can and sell it. Now, I know it's still the budget end of the Mercedes range, but there is something very comforting about knowing that you're sitting in a car that is no bigger than a Mondeo and actually needn't cost that much more than a top-end one, but it's better built than your house and will probably be around a lot longer. It's actually longer than the previous C-Class, but because of its shape, it looks smaller, more compact, and that is translated in the drive. Whilst not exactly feeling tiny, it does feel a lot more nimble than the outgoing model. And it is a vaguely sporting experience. I say vaguely because, well, don't expect it to romp away madly. Here's your choice of engines. This is the 200, which means it gets a 2-litre with a supercharger and about 163 brake horsepower. That translates, if you're interested in figures, to 0 to 60 in 9.3 seconds, which is quite respectable. The 180 has a 2-litre engine, and then it all gets a bit confusing because there's a 2.6 in the 230, the 3.2-litre V6 in the 320. Who cares? You're not going to remember them anyway. This is the kind of mid-range, probably one of the better sellers. And it does feel pretty strong, but it is still a Mercedes, so Sir and Madam are asked to refrain from anything that's too verging on the hooliganery. Steering and suspension have been completely revised. The old one on Mercedes used to be recirculating ball, something that I would have thought put you in hospital, but apparently it steers your car. It's now rack and pinion, which is much better. The newly revised suspension is, well, it's definitely on the firm side of yielding, shall we say, but that adds to the kind of sporty feeling. And whilst we're on the subject of things firm, the seats, typical Mercedes, you settle down and think, ooh, that's a bit hard, but actually, if you're on a longer journey, you will find they do start to adapt to the shape of, well, your bum, and make the whole thing a bit more comfortable for a longer trip. Another refreshing change comes in the fact that standard specification will be slightly higher than has been traditional with older Mercedes, where even wheel nuts would have cost you extra. You'll even find a 6-speed manual gearbox as standard. Or you can opt for the 5-speed automatic that we've got in our test car, which is, well, a little on the slushy side. Mercedes say that they've answered critics of their previous manual gearboxes and their 6-speeder is a lot sharper. That coupe-esque silhouette has another advantage apart from looking good. It does mean that it doesn't create as much drag, which of course in turn brings benefits in fuel consumption. Mercedes, in making their changes for the new C-Class, have dumped the old round dials, and we've got this kind of half-moon affair with a needle that cranks its way around the speedo set firmly in the middle. You wouldn't want to know about anything as vulgar as revs after all. And I'm not sure. I don't like it. I prefer round dials, but that's just me. This is a crucial car for Mercedes. It's their big seller. They expect to sell thousands upon thousands of these. There's no word from Mercedes yet on prices, but expect it to be competitive. They're keeping quiet as of now, I suspect because they don't want BMW to turn around and knock a couple of £100 off every model and claim to be cheaper. It will sell, no doubt about it. Just the 3-pointed star on the front would see to that, but the difference is this is a C-Class that you might just find desirable and not just the Tweedy set. Whereas the old one was very much a hyacinth bouquet to BMW's slinky Claudia Schiffer 3 Series, this new C-Class hits back with a naughty little Anna Kournikova. It looks a lot better and is a lot faster too. Watch out, BMW.